Watch and burn.
Hey everyone, so tonight I wanted to talk about Rancid's Indestructible from I believe 2003. This was the album that they had, it was originally, they had it distributed through Warner and they'd received a massive backlash from their fan base because a band like Rancid who stayed with an indie like Epitaph, heaven fucking forbid should they use the power of a major label for something awesome like distributing a Rancid record. Because I found that, like, God, sometimes punk rock fan bases get so fucking full of themselves. Like, Rancid using Warner, they weren't signing to Warner. And even had they signed to Warner, that isn't going to water down Rancid's formula. I mean, by this point, they'd carved in stone just how seriously they took their songwriting and how seriously they took their respect for everything that they had used in order to build what they built. And I was really disappointed with like hearing that their fan base behaved that way because like by this point Rancid was really successful financially speaking, and that's a massive faux pas in the world of punk rock. Like, heaven fucking forbid should really talented people be able to support themselves off music. And by this point Rancid had already done really well financially, so I don't see what the big deal was in using Warner's power to distribute their album worldwide. It takes some of the weight off Epitaph, which was still an indie at that point, of course still an indie now, and it frees things up for, like, whatever, doesn't matter. This is in a way sort of Armstrong's breakup album, but I don't like saying that too much because it seems to limit the album's impact, because this album is far from just a breakup album, even though he was initially dealing with the breakup of him and Brody from the Distillers and her going with Josh, ending up, with Josh from Queens of the Stone Age, and boy, is that fucking train wrecked since. But, I mean, with songs like Fall Back Down on here, it's clear that it's on his mind and he's really feeling it. But this record has a lot more going for it than this just being a simple breakup album. This record is incredibly fun. It's incredibly catchy. And it has a lot of heart. Like, I don't even know where to begin. Other Side's on here. Django's on here. Travis Bickle's on here. Fall Back Down. It's an awesome single. It did well for them. And that's awesome because Rancid deserves to be on the radio and the television because they are incredibly catchy songwriters. Indestructible is on here. I love how the record opens with that. It's a great album opener. It kind of sets the tone for the rest of the album. There's a lot on here that I love. Again, this is one of those records where there isn't a single song that I have a problem with. I do have my favorites, of course. David Courtney's on here. I love that song. Travis Bickle's on here. I love that song. Other Side's on here. Django's on here. I love Fall Back Down. I've heard that song like 10,000 times, and it's kind of like Ruby Soho or Time Bomb. I just can't get sick of it. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I don't want to limit this and say this is just like Armstrong's breakup album, even though that tone is heavy. That's right, Arrested in Shanghai is on here. That's like one of the best songs they've ever written, and I love how it's a complete sort of, it's a shift sound-wise as well as narrative-wise, and how it shows that Armstrong and company have a hell of a lot more to offer than just, you know, basic punk rock hardcore shit that they're known for. With songs like Arrested in Shanghai, it would be awesome too if one day they sort of released a record of songs that were just like that, just to see like if they could pull it off, because they probably could. Because I really like Arrested in Shanghai. I like how it almost sort of has like a Bruce Springsteen sensibility to it. And I really like that because I really like Bruce Springsteen. And I like how, like I said, there's a complete shift in its sound and how it's almost out of place on the album because it's the only song on here that sounds like that. And this record was so thick and so chunky. And that song is so crisp and so clear and so clean sounding. And it's so slow and like, I don't know, like I said, it doesn't really fit. But that's what made it more like a surprise because, you know, the record gets going and the record's got some speed. And like I said, this record has a lot of chunk. And then Arrested in Shanghai kicks in and you're totally caught off guard by it. And that's what makes it even better. So yeah, look, I'm going to go. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this album. This was another massively successful album from Rancid from 2003 that they caught a lot of heat for fucking having it distributed through Warner. They even had to take the Warner logo off the back of the record because their fan base was slapping their hand over it. And that is just so fucking petty. Like, people, they gotta get their heads out of their asses on some things. Like, who cares who distributes a fucking album? It's music. It's so that it can reach more people. Isn't that what this is about? Sort of like getting the music out there and trying to like find as many new fans as possible, you know? Music being a universal language that's meant for all people. Who gives a fuck who distributes the record or if they sign to a major label? It's whether or not their songwriting remains just as purposeful and meaningful as it always has. It doesn't matter who they sign to or don't sign to. And I do love how Rancid always stayed with Epitaph and still are on Epitaph, as a matter of fact. I don't think they're going anywhere either, because I know a ways back Madonna tried to sign them, and apparently she sent them naked Polaroids of herself. I don't like Madonna. She always resorts to the lowest common possible thing, which is fucking nudity and sex whenever she tries to get anything, because she's nothing. But yeah, so I'm going to go. Thank you so much for sitting with me while I discussed Rancid's 2003 album, Indestructible. Coincidentally, the album is Indestructible. If you like this album, do something nice for somebody. And if you like this review, do something nice for somebody. And thank you so much. Have a good night, and I'll see you soon. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button, because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.